Let's try this one last time before I give up. One last time before I give up. Yep, please. Yes, I know. Come on. I know I'm streaming. Shush. Stop. Alright. Cool beans. Alrighty, cool beans, cool beans. Everything is finally working. I had to unplug my microphone and plug it back in and do all sorts of stuff. Things were just falling apart randomly at the beginning. But here we go. I'm going to have this video playing in the background. This is just going to be the Warhammer preview show for AdaptCon 2025. My name is Dreads Hello, 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 everybody. I made some whoopsie daisies. Some of them I've been making for a while now, and I will admit I did make some mistakes. Yes, I did. First of all, I keep saying that Fulgrim's model is a copy of another model. That is my bad. That is my bad. 100% though. So back when they released, I have no idea how to pronounce this dude's name. Sigvald the Magnificent, when he came back, because originally he got killed off. He got killed off by Throg, right? Sigvald basically lost favor with Slaanesh. From what I understand, Slaanesh got bored of him, and then Throg brained him after Sigvald basically insulted him. So he wasn't looking, and then he took a big old club to the back of the head, and then as he was still twitching, he got peed on, right? So when Sigvald the Magnificent came out, there was also, God, I can't pronounce this, Morathi Kane and the Shadow Queen came out, and somebody had photoshopped Sigvald. I'm just going to call him Sig for right now. They had photoshopped the top of Sig onto the Shadow Queen, and that's where I was getting the Fulgrim thing from. So that is on me. That is 100% my fault on that one. Second, I've said this a lot. I first got into Warhammer 40k or Warhammer in the 7th edition, which came out in 2014. 2014, right? And Warhammer Fantasy died in 2015. Now on to my next part. I'm just going to let this play in the background for you guys. Back to these guys. Back to the Grand, not Grand Cafe, because that's what it sounds like to me. Grand Cathay. Cathay. Basically the word that Marco Polo came up for ancient China when he found them, right? I did not know about this faction. I don't really play a whole lot of the fantasy stuff. I'm mainly into the sci-fi stuff. The fantasy stuff does intrigue me here and there. I do like the old lore for some of it. I'm not a master of the old lore of any of it. Anything like that. I did have somebody comment on one of my videos saying that I need to stop streaming. I'm not going to stop streaming this. So you can go suck my big toe. And if you want to go tell all the edgelords that you say are going to come and give me hell and cancel me, you go right ahead, buddy. I don't care. I don't know if you know the history of my channel. I played the Hogwarts Legacy game, and the people false striked my channel for that because they said an imaginary genocide happened that never happened, and I got my channel back. So if you want to go and try to get me canceled for that, you go right ahead. I will stick by what I said. I think this faction right here could have been done a hell of a lot cooler, and they are a very bland, plain toast, no butter, no cinnamon, no sugar faction for what they are. I will say the one thing that I really do like about this faction, besides the big tower guys, I do like those guys, is the water decals. I love the water slide decals on these things. These guys are just going to yip and yap. But let's go over some notes, okay? So when people talk about the old world, I typically hear them talk about the Empire, Chaos Dwarves, Bretonia, however you say it, the Tomb Kings, Kevzlovs, Vampire Counts, and the Tomb Kings, and people will bring up Skaven. I think Skaven came in End Times. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what a lot of people normally talk about. People don't really talk about these guys a whole lot because, from what I understand, they popped up in second edition, which came out in 2005. The first edition came out in 1983. So it's older than I am, right? I'm not going to know all the lore about this. I wasn't even born when the first edition of this came out. So second edition came out in 2005. They were mentioned. They did have some models, but I don't think they had a full range set. I couldn't find a whole range set of them. There was an unofficial codex book that came out by Matthias Ellison in 2013. If there is a codex or something for these guys back then, I could not find it. A lot of the stuff that I found on Reddit and from other people is this faction was kind of a filler faction to go along with some other armies, such as the Ind and Nippon, which is the Japanese and Indian, and I guess there was a Mongolian one, and there is another one that I can't remember the name of. Right? So these guys weren't a whole complete faction, and like I said, Old World, or Fantasy, because it wasn't called Old World yet, died in 2015. I got into the hobby in 2014. So, I'm not going to know everything about this hobby. I never said I did, and you guys can suck on my big toe, because these guys right there, they're okay looking, but they're not the rule of cool, and that's what I've been saying through this one when this got released, is Warhammer, or not Warhammer, but GW, has really kind of dropped the ball on the rule of cool, because these guys do, I mean, they're neat, but they're nothing that says you got to go out and buy them, you got to have them, you can't live without them. They're just generic. They don't grab my attention all that much. I mean, from what I understand, this faction is supposed to be ruled by immortal dragons, right? So why do immortal dragons use weather balloons and cannons that shoot fireworks at people for weapons? Where's all the mysticism and stuff? And then what I did find out was this faction did get completed in 2021 for the Warhammer 3 Total War. So there's that. And there's stuff in here that's missing from that game. There's supposed to be guardian lions that sorcerers made, and they can be either made from jet or jade. The jet is for those seeking magic touch. The jade lion is a conduit of sorcery, able to use spells. And the jet lion, however, is the opposite, countering magic spells to diminish any sorcery that may harm themselves or those nearby. But like I said, it was very much like a kind of a filler army from what I gather. And it really didn't have a complete set, because the stuff that I found, the old models, was a Cathay hero on a Kirin, which is a Nippon flaming pony thing that can fly in the sky. I found some Mongolian guys on horses. I found some other stuff. In the unofficial rulebook, the heroes are the monkey hero and a brass titan and some other things, which I couldn't find the models for. If they do exist, I just couldn't find any pictures or references to them. The art that I found for Cathay, not from that book, is very, very different. It's very, very more brutal. I just this here is okay. It's neat looking, but it, like I said, it's not really cool. These things are neat, but I mean, again, they're just hot air balloons. For a thing that's a faction that is supposed to be unrivaled, right? And has no rivals and stops chaos. Hot air balloons, really? From dragons? Where are all the mythical creatures? Where are all the other dragons? Even in the trailer for the Cathay for Warhammer Total War 3, there's a dude who turns into a dragon and he beats the crap out of some dudes. And then he gets reinforced by a shadow phoenix, and then the jade lions come and things like that. I don't really care for this faction. I'm sorry. There are some neat things in here, but overall it just feels very generic and meh to me. A very, very much I would pass on this if I was into Warhammer. fantasy old world. I don't have any of the armies. A lot of I just I just don't want any. Um, I have a mountain of pile of shame. I think we all do. I mean, the only saving grace for this that I really, really do like is I think the symbol, the water slides and symbols are very cool. Um, and the big stone guys are pretty neat. And the right now, I didn't pause the video. They're just yapping and stuff in the back. I mean, this thing can drop bombs, okay. um, but like I said, I think it's a very meh army, and they could have done so much better with it. I think the concept for this army could have been a hell of a lot cooler. Like I said, these guys are neat, but I just feel like this army's missing the rule of cool, and a lot of Warhammer stuff has been missing the rule of cool. Some people may say, "Oh, that's a bad take." It's not a bad take, especially. And let me catch my breath. Especially when you know what's going on with the IP, that they're watering it down to bring in new players, but by watering it down and by trying to make everything appeal to everybody, you're basically making a product for nobody. And anyway, big dudes over here, big dudes. But yeah, so if you don't like my content, no one says you have to watch it. I'm not a lore expert in everything or anything. I like Warhammer 40k. I like stuff from Warhammer Fantasy. I like the Skaven. I like the Chaos Dwarves. There's certain things that I really like. Like I really like Throg. Throg really enthralls me. There's just it. It's a fun niche little hobby that is now becoming mainstream, and because of that, it's losing some of its charm. Like this thing right there, it's okay looking. It's all right, but again, this is nothing really special. Nothing that says, wow, this is really cool, you should have this, you need this, the paint that you have to have it, right? It's just lady on water horse dragon thing. But anyway, like I said, I really wish they would have gone for something else. um, I'm gonna say it, and you can suck my big toe, but I would have preferred that Lopan, David Lopan from Big Trouble Little China with the Four Storms, and I'm gonna keep saying that because I think that'd be really funny, and I think that'd be really cool, and that's what I feel what is missing from Warhammer is the creativity and the coolness. It's just generic. Let's play it safe. Type of just stuff for you to buy, and that I mean, I haven't bought anything from GW in a long time because nothing's caught my eye. Nothing said I need to have that. I want it. I need it to be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. It's just been just kind of bleh, very bleh. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been a very very short stream. So yes, all you edgelords that guy said was gonna come after me and cancel me, I'm here, bro. I'm ready to go. I'm just a silly little dude having fun, and who likes the hobby despite what is happening to it. I will probably always like the hobby. I will always like the books. I have the Horse Heresy novels that I read. Right now I am reading God, it's downstairs. The one about Shaw, the Night Lord, when he comes to the Hive City and he's looking for the Corona, the Kurz's magical crown of doom. That one. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dredd, and I will see you all later. If you don't like my content, you don't have to watch it. And if you want to cancel me and say I'm going to get a lot of hate for my opinions and my takes, suck on my big toe. At the end of the day, I don't really care. I'm just having fun. And if you don't like it, I don't care. If you do like it, cool beans. We can agree to disagree. And to that guy who gave me that comment, suck on my big toe. Because you stinky and you're fat and you live in the basement, you nerd. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.